If you clicked on this video, you're probably thinking the question that many people think. How do I overland on a budget? If you don't know what overlanding is, to put it simply, just camping out in the middle of the wilderness with your vehicle. Now, it's very similar to just camping. The biggest difference is instead of just going to a camping spot and camping, you take your off-road vehicle onto an off-road trail until you get to a nice location and you basically camp out of your vehicle. Very different. But anyway, back to my point. Overlanding is typically seen as a very expensive hobby, or a very expensive sport for that matter, because on top of already needing a reliable vehicle to get you out into the trails, it also requires a lot of gear that is, let's face it, very expensive. And because of this overland concept has been mostly dedicated to people who have 2018 Toyota Tacomas with the TRD off-road package and all the accessories for it. Everything from the upgraded lift, the big tires, the rack, the pop-up tents, everything. All this gear, all this money, maybe even over $100,000 invested. And so to people who don't have that money, it is just seen as pointless. My name's Trevor. I am 20 years old and I live out of my 1993 Jeep Wrangler. You might even say I overland full time. Granted, this is a pretty bugged out rig, I can tell you right now, but most of the parts on here are still budget. I have a Smittybilt roof rack, that's $300. That's the roof rack I use, and in fact, I would argue that I don't even need it. The only reason I actually have a roof rack is because I live in it full time. You don't need a pop-up tent to go overlanding. $30 at Walmart, boom, you got one. You want a cot? Another $30 at Walmart. Toss that in the back of your vehicle, you're good to go. Sleeping bag, boom. However much your sleeping bag costs to get out. I have a 93 Wrangler, and I do just fine in it. And I'm not the only one. There's a lot of other people out there who have older rigs. You can go find yourself a nice Suburban for like $4,000. Maybe a nice Tahoe, Chevy Silverado. There's so many good options out there. Pretty much any truck, even two-wheel drive, can get you onto the trails. And if you're worried about not having that super nice vehicle, well, just don't do anything too crazy and you should be fine. I mean, sure, I'm one to talk with my Wrangler, but there was actually a trip I went on in my Jeep Cherokee for less than $2,000. It still had the nubby tires on it. I took it mudding, tossed a cot in the back, tossed some of my clothes in there, boom, overland rig. Super cheap, not even $3,000 in there. And so there's this idea that if you don't have the money, you can't go overlanding. Well, okay, boomer, but I really think we can do it. There's not a lot of people out there who are my age who are out there. Let's face it, you go to an overland event and you see guys like this. Sorry, Michael. I mean, you look really good for your age. Our generation has lost the idea that we can actually get out and do these kind of things. It's mostly, older people who have more money, people who have already decided what they like to do, people who have already invested a lot of time and money into their vehicle. Most of us have our first car that we paid for with our own money, probably bought for cash, and we probably work at McDonald's on the weekend. No shame here, I worked at Chick-fil-A for 3 years. But we still want to be weekend warriors. We still want to go out and enjoy the great outdoors. And with spring coming right now, it's a great opportunity for us to do that. So, what does this all mean? Well, I would like to introduce to you the Budget Overland Challenge, or BOC for short. Now, what is BOC? Well, let me explain it to you. A small group of us content creators, mostly people with rigs that are not souped up, do enjoy overlanding, and so we have started a challenge for you guys to finally get out and finally just go overlanding. Now, I know I haven't given you much information on how to do that, but to put it simply, just do it! Because honestly, you don't need all this stuff that you think you need. A lot of people have this idea that you just need all this gear, but most of the stuff you can find at Walmart and walk out for less than $300. If you have a tent, grab your tent, grab your cot, maybe just throw a pad down in the back of your vehicle. Grab some stuff you might need, some water, maybe a spare tank of gas. Just do whatever you need, grab it all, toss it in the back of your vehicle. There's already a small handful of us who are really excited to push this out, Really excited to meet each other, and really excited to get out, get on the road, and keep working on these budget rigs. So now, I am challenging you to the Budget Overland Challenge of 2021. I want you guys to get out there. I want you to go on these overland trips. And don't forget to use the hashtag BOC2021. See you guys out there.